The entire world has been shaken by the events that occurred in Avengers Infinity War. So I wanted to take the time to talk about my thoughts on the film, which were really positive. I really did love this movie. Thanos, by far, is my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe villain that has ever existed. And the reason is because he's a very complicated villain. You don't hate him. Well, you might hate him because of what happened in Infinity War, but a lot of people walked out of the theater conflicted. As did I. I was conflicted. And although his idea of cleansing the universe may seem psychotic to most people, it is his true conviction, his passion behind his motivation to complete this task that makes you almost think otherwise. And his intentions are not to take control of the universe, the galaxy, our reality. His intentions are to bring balance. You have to almost admire someone who stands so strongly in their own convictions. As all of us already know, Gamora is the adopted daughter of Thanos, and in this film we got to see how that actually happened, which was really messed up. And it could be debated that she wasn't adopted, it was more like she was kidnapped. But the important part that I want to highlight is that Thanos has been the paternal father figure in Gamora's life for most of her life. Listen, I am not saying that Thanos is father of the year, but I think it's very clear to us as the audience that Thanos really does love Gamora as his daughter. There are a few occasions where the actions taken by our heroes are questioned by the audience, none of which top Doctor Strange giving up the Time Stone. But I believe after he's looked at all of the different realities, all of the ways that this story can play out, and he said that he's looked at millions, that in order for the Avengers to win, Tony needs to be alive. And listen everyone, I felt the same way that you did when Star-Lord ruined his own plan. But I think that everyone's hating on Quill more because of a slight lack in storytelling rather than the shortcomings of his character. Because if we were to rewind a little bit, going back to Civil War, Tony was faced with a very similar situation. When Tony finds out what actually happens to his parents, and even worse, that Captain America, his friend, knew about it, Tony's not able to see the big picture anymore, and he lets his emotions get the best of him. But when Tony does it, we didn't hate on him as much, and I think that's because of the storytelling. We've seen Tony from start to finish. But when Star-Lord learns that the woman that he loves was murdered by her own father, we don't give him any sympathy. I don't know if everyone's gonna agree with me, but I really loved the Iron Spider suit. I thought that the red and gold looked really awesome. I thought it was hilarious when Peter Parker refers to aliens as a really old movie. And what's even funnier is his plan that was inspired by the film actually worked. And that's the scene where we get to see the spider legs come out for the first time. When Tony puts his suit on for the first time in this film, the nanotech starts to crawl onto his skin and it forms the Iron Man suit. One of my favorite attacks in the entire film is on Titan when Doctor Strange does his multiplication or cloning effect. I thought that was really cool because that's such a wizard attack. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and you had to know that I was going to bring this up, is the ending. Thanos was able to carry out his plan, he snapped his fingers, and people started disappearing. Now, the great thing when it comes to the storytelling of this film is that they did kill off some of our main heroes, and the reason why that's important is because we, as an audience, need to know that the consequences of this entire film are dire. Because it adds to the narrative of Thanos' idea that nobody is important, and if he were to wipe out half of the universe, that it wouldn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But the one hero whose death was most dramatic, I believe, was given to the right character, and that's Spider-Man. And there's two reasons for this. One, the probably most obvious reason, is that he's the youngest, and that's just sad on its own. But two, goes back to the idea of family and his relationship with Tony. Peter, as we all know, lives with Aunt May, and he needs a father figure in his life. In comes Tony. Tony has never had a good relationship with his father, and then ends up being the surrogate father figure for Peter. So when the audience realizes that Peter is going to be one of our heroes that falls victim to Thanos' plan, they're not just sad because we're losing Peter. They're sad because they're watching a father figure lose his son. So for all of you who have already seen Avengers Infinity War, please let me know what you thought about the film in the comments. What would be funny is if you left an emoji of how you felt leaving the theater. And for all of you Marvel fans out there, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on all of the social media networks. I am on all of them. Everything is at Geek Level Asian. It's very easy to remember. And as Spider-Man would say, I don't want to go, but I have to, so I'll see you guys later.